Hi guys, welcome to the explanation for PT76 Game 2. Not too tricky. There's just one really funky rule that you need to get a good handle on, then I think the game is really fast. Okay, so what are we doing here? We've got to group these photographs into 3 sections of a paper. And the only way we're given to identify the photographs is by the names of the photographers. So there's F, G, and H. And then they're going in these 3 sections that we already talked about: lifestyle, metro, and sports. And there's going to be 2 photographs in each section. So far, so good here. 3 into 6, you're going to have to use some of these pieces twice. And then it turns out they give us a rule about that. We're going to use at least 1 of each, but max 3 of each. Other than that, the game's got just a couple funky rules that we now have to handle. There's going to be one thing in lifestyle that's the exact same thing as something in metro. So you might be good to put a little box here and a little conditional arrow between them so that you know that there has to be one thing that is exactly the same in these 2 sections. Now this next rule is really tricky. It took me a little bit of a second to think, how should I represent this? And what I ended up doing was say, okay, well, H here, H down here has to equal F here. So I just wrote that up above. At least I'm getting something down that's going to help me start remembering that. So H here equals F here. And then the last rule is really easy. G can't be in the sports section. No problem there. And that's it. We don't even have any other rules. So I thought about maybe doing scenarios here, but it felt like there was too many combinations, and there's really not too much to do in this board. You give us a little information about the board, we can fill in a lot of things really quickly. So that, to me, counseled against using scenarios. Okay, for 7, we're not going to look at that. You're just going to do it like any other acceptability question, take each of your rules and find out where they're violated. Turns out the answer here is B. Okay, for 8, we draw our mini diagram to work in because we've got this new information here. And we've got enough room to show you the mini diagram, so let's do that. Here we're going to have H in both of the lifestyle sections. So then H here has to equal F over here, so this has to be both F. We need G somewhere, right? At least 1 of each. So G pops into the middle, and then the last thing we need to do is have the same of 1 of these in L and M. So that's going to have to be H right here. So we can fill in the whole board pretty easy there. And now we just need to find something that must be true here. I get down to C, exactly 1G, and yeah, that must be true. Okay, for 9, same deal. We're working with a mini diagram, new condition here. In lifestyle, we got 1 by G and 1 by Hue. So that does trigger this rule up here. Then we know we're going to have at least 1 F over here. And then also we know because G is out here, we're going to need to have an H in here, right? Try to put another F in, and then all of a sudden there's going to have to be 2 H's over here following this rule. So the only thing that can go in this remaining spot is H. You don't really know much about the middle yet, but let's just try to answer the question. Anytime you get an inference, you want to see if it answers the question. And sure enough, we get down to D, exactly 1 by Hue. We find that inference that we just made. And that's the right answer. For 10, it's a could be true. There's nothing to do but test all these scenarios. Maybe you can work by elimination if you see that some are easy to eliminate. But for me, I'm just trying each of these scenarios out 1 by 1. So what could be true of Fuente's photographs? So he's got 1 in all 3 sections. I take a look at this and I don't see why not. Okay, 1 F here, then we got to follow this rule, have 1 H here. We've already met this rule, right? So then we just need to get G in somewhere. Can't be here, so let's put it in the middle. And this just has to be H. If it was F, that'd be bad because then we need another H over here. But this works fine. And A can be true, so it's our correct answer. Okay, for 11, we've got 1 in the lifestyle by Fuentes and 1 by Hue, right? So now we know, we should have learned from the last section, the last question rather, that now H here's got to match F here, and G's out, right? So the remaining one back here also has to be H. And then we got to get a G in somewhere. And then this could be basically whatever. So what could be true here? How about both in metro are F for A? Both in metro are F? No, we got to have a G in there. How about both in metro are G? I thought about that at first, and then I realized, okay, well, one of these and one of these has to be the same, so that's not possible. I realized then this has to be F or H. So this is out. And then how about exactly one in metro by hue? Yeah, one hue in metro, that could work fine. We just make that H and we're good. So C is the right answer there. Okay, this is a harder one, ramps up the difficulty here. Both the photographs in one section are by G. There's two options for that. It could be GG, or you could do LMS and then make it GG. In either case, you're going to need to meet this rule, right? So then at least one G is going to pop into this other section here. So then I'm just going to try these answers out and find something that could be true with both of these scenarios. So how about both photographs in lifestyle are hue? No, that could never be true. There's got to be a G in there. B's same issue, F and H and L, not going to work. You're going to have G in there. Both in the metro are Fuentes for C. That's not going to work. Got to have a G in there. Now for D, one in metro is G and one is H. So could we pop H in here is the question here. The answer is we can't, because you've got to have an F somewhere. There's going to be an F here, and that would force one of these G's to become an H following this rule up here. So this doesn't work. And we're left with E by elimination. You can check it. Both in the sports section are by hue. Yeah, sure. Just make that the case here. Pop the F in here, and you're good to go. For 13, we've got one in the metro by F and one by hue. So we need a G somewhere. Can't be here. We got to put a G in to L. And then that's pretty much all we can really infer. So I'm just going to go try what could be true, just like the last question here. How about both in L are F, so FF and L? Not going to work, right? It has to be a G in there. And then that actually answered B. You can't have both G in L because you got to have an F or an H in there. And then one photograph in the lifestyle section is by G and one is by H. That looks like it would work. Okay, so I just make this H, and then I have to make sure that this is just one F, right? And then the other one's an H, and I'm good to go. C is the right answer here. And that finishes out the game. Okay, as long as you could handle this rule, work with it in your memory, you're going to be pretty good to go here. Always try to represent even tricky rules somehow. It's really rare that you can not at all represent a rule visually. I like to try to get it down. It helps put it in your memory. Gives you something to refer back to visually. So even if it's funky and unusual, do what I do. Try to get it down on paper. Okay, see you on the next game.